Hello everybody. Today I wanted to go over the simultaneous multi-frequency metal detectors that are offered by the four major brands that are here in the United States. And simultaneous multi-frequency, what I mean is that they're running on more than one frequency at a time. That's not a selectable frequency. They're running on multiple frequencies at the same time on these metal detectors. So the four major players in the US right now are Garrett, Nokta, or Minelab, Nokta, and XP. And what I'm going to do is go over all the features that are available on these, and I probably won't be able to get through everything I want to do in one video. There's probably going to be a series of videos where in this one I'll do the different features that are available on each one and how they stack up that way. And then we're going to do some in-field comparisons where we go to like the beach, park, relic hunting, gold prospecting, and see how each of these performs against each other. We'll find some targets and we'll compare them all together, and we'll see how they do against each other. So starting out, let's just go over the basics with these, and we'll start with the Garrett Nokta, or Minelab Nokta XP, kind of like in alphabetical order. Got some notes here because I can't remember everything on all of them, but let's just start with like warranty. So as far as warranty goes, we got Garrett with a 3-year, Minelab with a 3-year, Nokta with a 3-year, and then XP offers a 5-year. So XP's got the best warranty in the business as far as time frame goes. The next thing we want to talk about is the weight. And as far as weight goes, the XP is going to be the lightest setup that you can get if you get the WS Master and mount it here on the shaft, and then you use some headphones with it. That's going to be your lightest setup. But if you had the remote on that, comparatively wise, all of these are going to be in the 3-pound range, plus or minus, a little bit on either side. And then as far as ergonomics go, I mean, that's totally like a person by person preference. I will say that all of them are fairly decent as far as ergonomics go. Some of them feel a little more nose heavy than others, but in my opinion, XP's got, that covered pretty well. So as of this recording date, which it's September 8th, 2023, I'm going to go over the pricing for each one of them. And of course that might change in the future, but for today, and if you were to go on eBay and look at these prices, I think they're pretty accurate. Now, if you shopped, went and shopped a dealer somewhere, you might get a better price on some of these, but this is just kind of like a ballpark or, retail price that you might go out and pay for these. So let's start with the Garrett. Now, the Garrett is going to come with optional coils that you can get, and the most common one is the 6 by 11, but they also have an 8.5 by 11 and 11 by 14 that if you buy it, you can get it with those different size coils. I'm pretty sure. I know for a fact the 8.5 by 11 and the 6 by 11 you can. The 11 by 14 maybe not. But if you were to go out and buy the Garrett, average retail price without headphones is about $425 from what I've seen, and with headphones you're looking at about $499. And then so moving on to the Minelab Manticore. Now the Manticore is kind of new. I have not seen too many places that have discounted this, and the retail price on it is $15.99. It's going to come with an 11-inch coil. And as of now, we've had coils announced. I've got an 8 by 5 that I got a hold of from a tester, and I've been using it. But there's also supposed to be a 12 by 15 coil that's coming out, and then obviously you'll probably have some, manufacturers that'll make coils just like they did for the Equinox. And by the way, the Garrett already has manufacturers that make aftermarket coils for it. So moving on to the Legend. Now the Legend that I have right now comes with this 11-inch coil. But they've just released an updated version that's got a 9 by 12 coil. So I'm going to give you pricing for both because you can probably find both of these right now. And the standard coil that you're going to buy is either going to be that 9 by 12 or 11. So from what I've seen, the Nokta Legend with an 11-inch coil you can get for about $499, and that's with headphones. The Legend with a 9x12 coil without headphones, I've seen them for about $509, and with headphones about $595. And so that's a nice wireless headphone there that you can use with your Legend. Now there are some additional coils that are out with the Legend. I'm not aware of any aftermarket, but there may be some. But I know Nokta offers a 6-inch, a 5x10, the 11 round, the 9x12 round, and then there's a bigger one that's like 12x14 or something like that. I'm not exactly sure on the size of the bigger one. And then finally with the Deus, you can get in a couple of different configurations with 11-inch coils, 9-inch coils, and I think you can get the 11x13 coil too. Now the coils, as far as the Deus go, are going to be you're not going to see any aftermarket coils for the Deus. They're going to be, you know, everything XP makes, and you're going to be pretty limited on, you know, what you can get as far as coils go. But let's just go over pricing on those. The least expensive setup that you can get with the XP Deus II is what they call the WS Master setup, and it's the puck on your headphone. You can mount it, and then you can use headphones with it. And that setup runs $799, and I'm fairly certain you can choose the coil that you want. Maybe not the 11x13, but for sure you can choose between the 9-inch and the 11-inch version. And then the next thing that they've got is the Deus II with the remote setup. And with the remote setup, you can use wireless headphones that don't have the WS puck, or you can just plug headphones into it. That setup's about $11.99. And then if you get the full setup, which is WS6 headphones, remote, and the Deus II, you're looking at about $14.99. Now another option that you can get are headphone options, and you can shop those as well. These are the over-the-ear headphones that have wireless connectivity with the remote, and they're a little more comfortable to wear, although I don't like them in the summertime. I usually go with the WS Master. So that's kind of the pricing and stuff for those. And then, okay, next thing I wanted to go over is what version of software each one of these is running. And so as of today, which is September 8th, 2023, the Garrett Ace Apex is running version 1.20.2. The Minelab Manticore is running version 6.16. The Nokta Legend, well, I guess it's just Nokta Legend is running version 1.11. And the XP Deus II just released version 2 a couple days ago. So that's the latest one on that. And so what I'll do is, if between now and the time I get out in the test, or get out in the field to test these against each other, if there's a new software version, I'll let you know. But if not, just know that that's what each one of these is running, is the latest version of software. So let's go over a couple things as far as collectively how they stack up as far as waterproof and things like that go. So all of them have the capability of running wireless headphones, and some of them are just low latency Bluetooth, others are proprietary Bluetooth headphones, or I think the Deus II is like radio frequency headphones, but they all have the capability of doing that. They all have internal rechargeable batteries. The Deus II, the Legend, Nokta Legend, the Minelab Manticore are all waterproof. The Garrett Ace Apex is just water resistant. As far as being able to collapse these down, the Deus II, the Legend, and the Manticore all have a nice cam lock system that you can close these down to, you know, a real short detector, which you can put in a backpack. The Garrett Ace Apex isn't quite as nice. It's got, you know, the old, where you've got different positions you can lock these into. It's only going to collapse down to a length of maybe this, so you're not going to be able to get that in a backpack unless you take it apart. So not quite as nice as the other three as far as collapsibility goes. Let's see, all of them have backlight capabilities on the machine, so you can hunt in the dark. All of them have ground balance capabilities, where you can ground balance the machines to, you know, highly mineralized ground. As far as EMI handling goes, the Deus II, the Nokta Legend, and the Minelab Manticore all have like automatic EMI or frequency shift where you can push a button, it'll find the quietest channel. The Manticore actually has a system where you can continuously hold it down until it finds the quietest channel over multiple rounds through all the frequencies to get you the best channel. And then the way that you have to do it with the Garrett, to my knowledge, is you have to move a frequency you have to sit and change channels manually until you find the clearest channel. Okay, now what I'm going to do is we're going to go machine by machine and go over the individual features on each one of them so that we can do a comparison as far as that goes. So what I'm going to do is switch over to a camera where we're just pointing it straight at the screen, and we'll go over those things on each one of the detectors. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go over each of these detectors and the features that each one of them has. And so with the Garrett, fairly simple system to use, and by the way, I love the screen on the Garrett Ace Apex. It's a nice big screen, easy to see, got backlight and everything. Menu is really easy to navigate. These buttons are really easy to see, and it's a simple machine to run. So on the menu, what you've got is sensitivity adjustment, and you can move that up and down with your plus and minus buttons. You've got volume, which I've got all the way down because I'm on a concrete floor that's got rebar in it, and the machine's continually going off. But then after that, you've got your iron volume, you got your frequency, which there is selectable frequency here. You've got multi-salt, 5, 10, 15, and 20 kilohertz. And then this is where you would shift channels if you had EMI interference. And then over here you've got your backlight and your wireless headphones. So to get out of that, you can just push the pinpoint button, which this is your pinpoint button. Right here, the different modes that are available on the Garrett Ace Apex are 0, you got coins, US coins, and if you notice up here, all this is doing is changing the sections that are discriminated out. The modes on the Garrett Ace Apex are simply modes that have different targets that are discriminated out. So you got jewelry, you've got relic, and then you've got custom, where you can go in and you can disc out these different segments. And by the way, these segments can only be changed 5 points at a time, not individually. So I oftentimes will run in 0 mode, but very simple machine to run here. You've got the depth indicator over here. You got your ground balance button. You got your iron audio button on or off. Tells you iron audio's on. We've already gone over pinpoint. And then up here it kind of gives you some target ID type scenarios where coins would fall, pull tabs, jewelry, things like that. So there's the Garrett Ace Apex, very simple machine to run. Okay, so let's take a look at the Minelab Manticore now, and what we've got, you can see this is a very clear screen. You can see this is a very clear screen, easy to see. It's got a nice backlight on it. You can run the backlight even in the middle of the day. It really doesn't take a lot of your battery up, so I would recommend running it like that. But basically what you've got here on the screen is it tells you what mode you're in here, whether or not you're in multi or single frequency. You've got your sensitivity level. This is your target ID, your depth, your battery level. That's looking for wireless headphones, so we'll turn that off. And then down here you've got your target trace, and in the gray here you've got the area that's in your what they call Ferris limits. You can turn the horseshoe on and off. This will block out any area that's in the gray. And then over here you got your settings, and let's go through the menu here real quick. Very intuitive menu, I believe. Easy to see buttons here, easy to see screen, and you've got all your options along the side here that are very easy to see and relatively easy to figure out. So you got volume, tells you its volume. I've got it down because of we're indoors here on a concrete floor. This tells you your different search modes, and unlike the Garrett Ace Apex, this actually changes like the number of frequencies that you're running or what frequencies are running within each mode, and it's really more geared internally towards the different field environments rather than just disking out certain things. It's set up so you've got, Ferris limits are different, recovery speed is different, things like that. So it's really thought out to where it's going to help you in these different scenarios. So let's just go through the search modes real quick here. We'll start, let's go back to the beginning. So in all-terrain, you've got general, you've got fast, low conductors, high conductors, trash reject. Then in your beach modes, you've got general, beach low conductor, beach deep, beach surf and seawater. That's what you would use if you were in the water. And then you've got a gold program. Now you'll notice on the Garrett, sorry, this thing's going a little wild. You'll notice on the Garrett that there wasn't a prospecting mode, but because it's got a single frequency that runs at 20 kilohertz, I believe that you could use it for prospecting. It just doesn't have a prospecting mode like these other machines are going to have. So from there you go up, you can do a noise cancel, and the way that works is you just hold it a little bit above the ground. You can do a single push, or you can do a hold where it'll continuously go through the channels and try to find the best one, and then you just release it when you're done. You got ground balance, and you just use the button here. You can turn on tracking or off tracking, or you can pump it up and down to get ground balance, or you can manually change the ground balance numbers, and that's very similar to what was on the Apex. Recovery speed, something the Apex does not have. The other detectors we're going to go over does, and this is changeable from 0 all the way to 8. I oftentimes will run at 4 or 6. And then you've got discrimination patterns where you can just run an all metal, or you can set something up custom. I'm not going to go into all of that, but you can go in and edit where your discrimination patterns are, and you can take out individual numbers, unlike the Ace Apex where it requires you to take out 5 at a time. Let's go back into settings here. Next thing you've got is Ferris limits, and you can set up different Ferris limits, custom Ferris limits, where you can change that for different sites. You got Ferris volume and Ferris pitch that you can adjust. You've got number of tones, number of target tones, and the Apex is a 5-tone machine. These you can go anywhere from 1 tone to 99 tones on the Manticore, and the other detectors we'll cover here in a minute. But you've got all these different options where you can have target tone bends and make adjustments within each one. If you decide to get one of these, the Minelab Manticore, you'd want to go into the user manual to see how all that works. I'm not going to go through all that. There's plenty of videos out there to show you. This is just basically a video to show the overview of how these work and what features are available. In audio themes, you've got a bunch of different audio themes, 4 of them that the Manticore offers. You got normal, enhanced, depth, and prospecting. And then you can make adjustments within each one of those. And then here's where you would change from multi-frequency to your individual frequencies, and it goes up to 40. And then in here you've got your general settings, and here you can see where you can turn on the vibration, do your backlight, set your soft keys for quick functions. You can do a factory reset, and then you've got your software information. So that's just kind of an overview of the Minelab Manticore. You can kind of see how the trace works. Not only do you have a target ID up here that's gonna show, but you've also got, you know, your audio you can listen to, and you've also got trace function where it's going to show where the target falls, and the closer it is to the center line, usually the better it is. Sometimes you'll get stuff that'll just kind of hang just outside of the Ferris limits, and those types of signals I would dig. But it does show you, you know, it's another way of determining whether or not you want to dig a target. So let's move on to another machine. That does it for the Manticore. All right, next up we got the Nokta Legend, and in my opinion, this is just my opinion, this is probably the hardest machine to figure out what's going on with everything that's on the screen. The keypad down here to me is very hard to see, even in good lighting. The screen itself's just got way too much going on, in my opinion, too. I mean, you know, they're trying to display everything that's going on here, and it really is quite confusing to me. And I know a lot of other people complained about it too. But to go into your settings, what you do is go here. All your setting functions are along the bottom. I'm not going to go through them individually, but the way you'd page through to them is just move your arrow across, and it highlights what each of these settings does. And for those that have a hard time seeing without glasses on in the field, this can be difficult for people. Up here you've got your modes. To get out of this, you just hit settings again. To switch modes, you're just going to use your arrow key, and you can see up here it's highlighting the different modes. And the modes that are available is you got park, field, beach, and prospecting. And then within each one of those, you've got some settings that you can do. Over here, you've got your multi-frequency setting. There's 1, 2, and 3. Multi-1 is for like coin-sized targets or high conductors. Multi-2 is going to be for your lower conductors, and multi-3 is going to be for like conductive ground. If you've got wet ground, you've got, you know, especially ground that's got like alkaline in it and it gets wet, it tends to sound off, so you'd want to use multi-3. But the Nokta Legend has a lot of the same adjustments that are available on the Manticore. It does not have a trace screen, but things like, you know, iron bias type settings or Ferris limits type settings are all going to be available in here. Sensitivity you can adjust. You can adjust your recovery speed and things of that nature. So very, very comparable to the Deus II and the Minelab Manticore as far as adjustability goes, and being able to customize the machine to the different spots that you go to. Like I say, my biggest gripe is just the screen and all the clutter that's on it and how hard it is to see the keypad. But you know, it's a very capable machine in the field. So let's move on to the Deus II. All right, and then finally we got the Deus II here. The Deus II's got the smallest screen of all of them. It can be fairly hard to see, but you can change this to make these numbers bigger so that it is easier to see that way. The menu system is a little bit hard to follow too on this, but you've got all sorts of adjustability functions, just like the Manticore and the Legend. You can go into your options here where you can change like your discrimination, your sensitivity, the max frequency that you're running on, your iron volume, your recovery or reactivity, your audio response. A lot of these things, you know, might not make sense unless you're familiar with the machine, or if you go into the user's manual and take a look at these individually. But a lot of these have what they call expert functions underneath your menu, or they're sub-menus. So in here you've got number of tones, bottle cap reject. You can use a notch system to notch out different targets. Silencer is going to be a lot like your iron bias on the other two machines. And then back to number of tones, and then to get out of these you just back out with the arrows. You've got ground balance features where you can pump it, run it on tracking, or move it individual numbers until it ground balances. Under your options you've got pairing for your coils and your headphones. You've got audio options where you can go in and change the volume for either the speaker that's on the remote or the headphones that you're using. You've got a bunch of different things here. Equalizer, your audio type. It's going to be very similar to the Manticore, where you've got, you know, like your normal, your enhanced, your prospecting. On the Deus II, you've got what they call PWM, which is the standard Deus sound. You've got square and you've got high square, and that's just going to be for, like, you know, user preference as far as, you know, what you like as far as audio goes. But there's a lot of different options that are available on the Deus II as far as being able to customize your machine. There's user slots where you can save custom programs. It comes with 10, I believe 10 standard programs, and again, that's a lot like the Nokta and the Manticore, or the Minelab Manticore, where it's set up for different discrimination patterns, different frequency types and things like that that are more in tune with the sites that you're hunting, rather than just like the Ace Apex, where you've just got different disc patterns. Internally, these machines, the other three machines, have things that are done within the programs and within the frequencies that they're running on that optimize it for different sites. So very adjustable machines. And if you take a look at the, you know, the prices that are available and what features are available on each one, it's going to give you a pretty good idea, you know, where you may want to go with this. So let's just do a quick wrap up and that'll do it. And I know I haven't covered a lot of in-depth stuff with each one, but it does, we are showing you here that, you know, you kind of get what you pay for. So let's do a quick wrap up. And all right, well, that wraps up today, where we've got, we've kind of compared all the features that are on each of the detectors. You know, from that you might be able to get an idea of which one's going to be best for you if you're in the market. What I'm going to do in the near future is take these machines out, and I'm going to go to like a park, I'm going to go to the beach, I'm going to go relic hunting, I'm going to go out prospecting. We're going to compare each of these detectors on live targets out in the wild, so that we can see how each one of them performs against each other. So stay tuned for that, and I hope to see you guys on the next video.